Hey everyone, it's me again. You may remember on our recent episode of Music Maniacs, Paul 3 mentioned something that I was not aware of, being Pink Floyd selling their catalog to Sony Music. After that episode, I decided to look it up for myself, and lo and behold, it is true. Now I have Variety.com here on my work phone. I'm going to read just some of the article here posted about this deal. After years of false starts, the iconic British rock band Pink Floyd has agreed to sell the rights to their music, their name and likeness to Sony Music for about $400 million. The deal, one of the largest of many in recent years, apparently has finally concluded despite decades of ongoing infighting and bitter words between some of the band members, notably between chief songwriters David Gilmour and Roger Waters. Also involved is drummer Nick Mason, and the estates of both keyboardist Richard Wright, who died in 2008, and founding singer and songwriter Syd Barrett, who passed on in 2006. The deal comprises the rights of their recorded music but not the songwriting, which is held by the individual writers, as well as the name and the likeness, which includes merchandise, theatrical, and similar rights. While Pink Floyd was famously anonymous as personalities, presumably most, if not of all the iconic artwork of their albums, is also included. On a purely business level, the Pink Floyd music catalog, including its merchandising rights, is one of the most valuable in contemporary music, with classics like Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall, Wish You Were Here, Meadow, Animals, the first album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, the 1969 soundtrack to the French movie More, and many more to boot. Sony has spent more than $1 billion on catalogs ranging from Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, and Queen's non-North American rights in the past few years. They have never officially made any comments on these deals, but it was reported that 2 weeks ago, the Pink Floyd transaction was nearing its closure. The catalog had been in play for several years, with a reported asking price of $500 million. Now this is where it gets good. And this is for all the people out there who've been saying for the past couple of years, I love the music of Pink Floyd, but I am so up to here with Roger Waters' politics. This one's for you. The group was close to a deal in 2022. But the bitter infighting between the band's members, primarily over the controversial political statements from main songwriter Roger Waters against Israel and Ukraine in favor of Russia, apparently scared off a number of suitors. There seems little question that Waters' comments, which had made him a pariah from all but his biggest fans, also cost him his solo record deal. Those comments also devalued the catalog. Surprisingly, the deal concludes as multi-front wars in the Middle East from Israel are reaching a new peak of violence, which opens Sony up to a firestorm of criticism for paying such a hefty sum to Mr. Waters, who has denied that he is anti-Semitic, but has very fierce criticism of the governments in Israel, Ukraine, and the United States, and his strong statements in support of both Russia and its leader, Vladimir Putin. Among the provocative statements Waters has done, Waters has compared Israel to Nazi Germany, and he said that Russia's invasion of Ukraine was not unprovoked. Some of his 2022 concerts in Poland were canceled over these comments. Polly Sampson, David Gilmour's wife, said on Twitter, "Roger, you are anti-Semitic to your rotten core." Gilmour responded by saying, "Every word demonstratedly true." Gilmour added that Waters refuted their comments as widely inaccurate. Gilmour recently told Rolling Stone that he was interested in the sale less for financial reasons than to be rid of the decision-making and the arguments are involved with keeping it going, which he described as his dream. The companies were close to a deal with the group in 2022, said to be Hypnosis, BMG, and Warner Music. All have had leadership changes since then, and as we mentioned earlier, BMG dropped Waters from its roster as a solo artist. Waters' controversial comments were a major factor in these deals falling apart, through a variety of other factors, including rising interest rates, tax issues, and the sinking value of the British pound also played a role in this issue. Caught in the middle of this dispute was drummer Nick Mason, who said in 2008, "It's really disappointing these rather elderly gentlemen are still at loggerheads, still bickering left and right." Now, you may remember Floyd recorded for Sony Music in the 1990s. They released 2 albums, 1994's The Division Bell and 2014's The Endless River, which was cited as the final Pink Floyd album, period. Now, since he signed with Sony back in 1975, when it was still known as CBS, Floyd has maintained the copyrights of their albums since that deal. I guess when they signed with Columbia CBS, ownership of their music was included into this deal, since the group at that time was still reeling from the success of Dark Side of the Moon, which came out 2 years prior. Now, the question I have is that will the remix versions of both Momentary Lapse of Reason from 1987 and 1977's Animals, will they be included in this deal? If not, anybody who has the copies of these 2 new versions, hold on to them with your dear life. For shizzle, they're going to be collector's items. And for the record, I have heard the new 2018 remix of the Animals album. And you know what? It rocks. Most definitely. Especially the remix version of Pigs, 3 different ones. So what do you guys think of all this? Isn't it time Waters and Gilmour finally put their beef aside and start getting along again? Heck, they were getting along after the Live Aid reunion back in 2005. A couple years later, both Mason and Gilmour joined Waters at the O2 Arena at the closing of Waters' performance of The Wall. In fact, when Gilmour made an appearance doing Comfortably Numb, the whole place erupted in applause, in shock, and in absolute pleasure. About time we see these two back on the same stage together again. What do you guys and gals think of all this? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and that notification bell,